Going on, sports betters. Tonight, we got game five of the NBA Finals. Denver with a chance to close out at home and win their first ever NBA title. That being said, it's easier said than done closing a team out, no matter how good you are or how mismatched the series may seem to be. I actually thought that Miami had a chance coming into the series, not necessarily to win, but at least to take it to 6 games. I expected them to steal one of the first two on the road, which they did, and then at the very least to win one at home, which they obviously were unable to do, and now they're in this 3-1 deficit. But if you look at Game Three, it was the first time in NBA history that two players of the same team had a 30-point triple double. If that's going to happen, you're going to lose to anybody, and the odds of that happening again, uh, you know, minuscule. Didn't come close um, last game, and game four, Miami's role players continued to struggle. Struess and Vincent are now a combined 4 for 27 in those games. In game three, Christian Braun couldn't miss. And really the Denver role players have played better than the Miami role players by a long shot. Aaron Gordon was 101 to be the leading scorer in game four, and he ultimately ended up being the hero. Now, do I think that Denver wins this game tonight? Most likely. But the way that I'm attacking this game is the same way that I've attacked the underdog in just about every single elimination game this playoffs to massive success, and that is to bet them in the first quarter and the first half. The Nets, T-Wolves, Hawks, Clippers, Kings, Lakers, Heat, and Sixers, those teams were a combined 16-0 against the spread, against the first quarter and first half lines in the respective elimination games. Teams facing elimination in the first half and first quarter are 18-1 in the postseason. The only, I think, instance where the team didn't cover was the Celtics, I believe, in game five against the Heat. But every other team has come out strong, and trends are useless for the most part, but this isn't really a trend as much as it is just psychology, right? The team who has the lead, especially, in a lot of these cases, it was a pretty, comfortable lead in the series. They're not going to come out with as much intensity as the team who's literally fighting tooth and nail to fight for their season. We saw it against the Timberwolves, who, in my opinion, are nowhere near the quality of this Heat team. The Timberwolves in Game 5, again in Denver, they were up 7 after the first quarter, covered that first quarter line easily, and we're only down 1 at half, again, covering the first half line. And, that game ultimately ended up coming down to the wire where the Nuggets barely pulled out the win. And, same thing looking at the Lakers series, right? Game four, the Lakers came out guns blazing. Took a 17-point lead into the locker room before totally falling apart in the second half. Ultimately losing by 2 points. But my point is, until you win a championship, it's very difficult to close a team out. Especially a team that's as hungry and as experienced and as well coached as Miami is. Miami's been the epitome of the character, type team. And, I'm going to let Coach Spo, have the floor for a minute here.
We have an incredibly competitive group. We've done everything the hard way, and that's the way it's going to have to be done right now again. And all we're going to focus on is getting this thing back to the 305. Get this thing back to Miami. And things can shift very quickly. It's going to be a gnarly game in Denver that's built for the competitors that we have in our locker room.
And, that's all that you can ask for. They have the right mentality. It's literally one game at a time. If they win this game and it goes back to Miami, then it's a series again, maybe. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. Do I think they win this game? No. I think they certainly can. But I do have a lot of confidence in them coming out strong. Taking a potential lead into the locker room. The first half line, there's actually a rogue 5.5 at -115, which is what I grabbed over on FanDuel. So they could even be down 2 possessions and still cover this first half number. Last thing I'll say, Miami on the road. I mean, this is a team that's worth backing. They beat Milwaukee twice on the road in that series. They beat the Knicks as an underdog in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, they beat the Celtics 3 times in Boston, and they were able to win Game 2 against this very same Nuggets team in this same arena, in Game 2. So they've actually been 10-3 against the spread as an underdog of 4 or more this postseason. So, I could only look at Miami full game as well. But like I said, I do prefer them in the first half, even though they've been a very good second half team, particularly a great fourth quarter team, leading the NBA in fourth quarter scoring margin in the playoffs by a massive number. They're plus 88 points, and I think the next closest was around plus 38 in the Lakers. Bottom line, I don't see, this Miami team going down without a fight. And, Tyler Hero's coming back potentially. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think that a guy who hasn't played all postseason can come in a must-win elimination game and make a big difference. Typically when a player comes back after a long absence, it's more of a net negative than positive because it's, takes a while for them to work their way back in. It screws up the rotations, etc. But that being said, I mean, he can't be much worse than the Miami role players have been. Strus and Vincent, like I said, have been horrific. I do think Martin has a good game as well. He obviously was phenomenal in that Boston series. He's come back down to earth in this series, but he did have the flu in the first 2 games. And, last game, he finally got 30 minutes and he scored into double digits. So he's going to have to be because Bam and Jimmy can't do it on their own, but I'm just going to keep riding this trend. I mean, it's hitting at 94% on the postseason, so win or lose, this is a bet that, I'll make just about every time. And, with this Heat team, I have a lot of confidence in this. So my bets for this game, Heat, first quarter, plus 2.5, -102. Heat, plus 5.5, first half, -115. Both of those odds are available over on FanDuel. Let's go, Heat. Good luck, and let's make some money.